Hello, all. I hope your week's going well. This week's discussion board is distinguishing between freedom and liberty and what those two words really mean. So, when we look at Cicero, who is from Rome, and Aristotle, who is from Greece, and we look at their early definitions of freedom and liberty, we start to see what the true meanings of these words really are. Aristotle looked at the concept of freedom, and he believed that freedom was a condition of one's soul, and that freedom allows one to live as one wishes with a shared public responsibility. And true freedom would ensure that all are treated equally by the law, and the idea of freedom is that anyone can think, speak, or act as they want, again within that public responsibility. And freedom is the ability to have personal freedoms and to have ability to make one's own decisions about life. Cicero believed that liberty was essential to the very well-being of any society. The idea of liberty is that one is free from outside restrictions or authority or constraints, such as a government or a monarchy, anything that tries to impose their beliefs or views on the individual. According to Cicero, the essence of liberty is to be able to live as you choose. Living a life of liberty means that your life is free from the restrictions imposed by authorities, and the idea of liberty looks to a limited government and limited power. So, living a life of liberty means living a life free from external constraints. Cicero's and Aristotle's idea concerning freedom and liberty can be seen in how governments function all over the world today. One of the most influential documents that was influenced by Cicero and Aristotle's ideas is England's Magna Carta. Now, the Magna Carta also influenced many governments, including the United States, and the Magna Carta was signed on June 15th, 1215. Originally, the Magna Carta had 37 articles, but today only 3 of those are in use. And these include the freedom of the church, the ancient liberties of London and other towns and boroughs, and the Act of Due Process. So having fixed legal procedures and laws guaranteed that everybody observed them, even the government, even the monarchy, and this helped to create individual liberties and freedoms. These individual liberties and freedoms influenced the colonists and helped lead to the American Revolution. And the influence can be seen in the thoughts and ideas of William Penn, in the First Continental Congress, and in the US Constitution. And these ideals of freedom and liberty led to both our modern democracy and our modern view of capitalism. Cicero's original ideas can be seen today in those individuals that believe in a limited federal government. According to Zimmerman in his article, the English common law that influenced the United States and our political structure was also inspired by ideals of Christianity. And from King Ethelbert to King Alfred and the Norman Conquest, Christian ideals were part of the law and the government. And these ideals influenced the Magna Carta, they influenced the church, and they influenced contract law. And we can see the influence of these ideals in the Puritan Revolution and the supremacy of common law. Sir Edward Coke, an English barrister and judge, is known to have said, "Even kings ought to be under God and the law." These Christian ideals included the concepts of natural law, natural rights, natural justice, and these Christian ideas helped to further the promotion of Cicero and Aristotle's concepts of freedom and liberty. My dad worked at Liberty in the early years, and this lesson kept bringing back something to me that Dr. Falwell used to say. And one of the Bible verses he would quote a lot is 2 Corinthians 3:17. And it says, "Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty." This form of liberty comes from the Holy Spirit and gives the believer liberty from the burden of sin and guilt because we have the freedom to follow Christ. So this liberty is a personal transformation because as a believer, we no longer live under the constraints of external regulations, but live with God's grace and God's mercy. Verse 18 says, "But we all, with open face, beholding as in a glass the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord." So this liberty that we have because of Christ allows us to be transformed to be more like him, which in the end is the ultimate liberty. Today, liberty and freedom in our society and within our government have led to improved equality in communities and improved social justice, but there's always room for improvement in the freedoms and liberties that we allow others to partake in. True freedom and liberty are not freedom and liberty unless all are given the same equality of rights. Thank you.